Hi everybody, I'm Spike Brave, and in this video I'd like to talk about the Commando COM-2D BattleMech and Mechwarrior Online. In this video I'd like to give you an overview of this particular mech's chassis, and we'll start out talking about this mech's hitboxes. So if we come over here to my mech, we will see that he's kind of short, so he's hard to hit. And let's talk about those hitboxes. So right here, if you look, you see some glass. The center pane right here is where your head is. So keep that in mind. This is where you want to shoot if you want to hit a commando in the head, and this is what you need to protect if you are a commando. Everything else in this structure that looks like a head, and then from this little ear-like structure down and through here where I'm pointing, is considered the mech's center torso. So that's where your center torso is. And then if we go over to the side here, this area is the side torso, and this is your other side torso. So as you can see, kind of compact hitboxes there. Of course, your arms, that's pretty well defined, and your legs, those are also pretty well defined. Now, something to keep in mind when you're in a commando or shooting at a commando is that its legs aren't quite as wide apart as the Jenner, and if you saw my videos on those, you'll know that sometimes you can shoot between a Jenner's legs. Doesn't happen nearly as often as a commando, and if we turn him to the side, we can see that his legs are somewhat short, so they are harder to hit, so this can be a difficult mech to leg. So that's something to keep in mind. But the most important feature in the commando, in my opinion at least, are these arms. So if we turn to the side, you can see how well the arms cover the side torso. So you do get quite a bit of protection from your arms. So remember, if you're taking fire, turn your mech into the fire. It's better to lose that arm than lose the side torso, because most likely you'll be rolling an XL engine in this guy. So keep that in mind. Turn those arms to protect your torso. As you can see, that does a great job of covering it. And we'll take a look at his back here. Same hitboxes. So here's your center torso rear, and then your side torso's rear. So that's been a look at his hitboxes. And let's talk a little bit about his quirks. So if you come over here to the mech lab and you mouse over any mech you'd like, you'll get this little pull-out that tells you some stuff about it, what hard points the mech has and stuff you have equipped in it. But for this video, what's really important is this quirk summary section. So let's take a look and see what we got. We've got additional structure on the right and left arm. So that means once you lose your armor, you've got a few more points of damage before you lose the arm. So that's good to know. And we also get additional structure on the right leg and left leg, making him harder to leg. And then finally, we have some buffs to our missile range and our missile cooldown. So what I've decided to do in this mech is give him a medium laser and 2 SRM4s to take advantage of those missile buffs. So let's take a look at how I've got my commando loaded out. So we'll just come down here and click on mech details. So as you can see, I've got the maximum armor possible. I have 18 points of armor on my head, 32 total on my center torso, 4 rear. I've got 24 on each side torso with 4 in the rear. And then for my arms, 16 points, which is the maximum, and on my legs, 24 points, which is the maximum. Now, I've used both the internal structure buff of Endosteel and the armor buff of ferrofibrous armor to get as much weight as I possibly can out of this mech. So, as you can see, I've got the maximum engine of a 220. In the center torso, it has a missile slot, so I've put an SRM4 there. That way, if I'm using my arms to cover and I lose both my arms, I still have at least something to shoot with. I've put my ammunition for my SRM in my head and center torso. I went with this particular configuration because if I take a critical hit to either of those ammo locations, I'm almost dead anyway, so I didn't figure it was too much of a loss. In my left torso, I have the Guardian ECM. That is something only this particular commando can carry. And then in my left arm, I've got a medium laser, so I always have something to shoot if I run out of SRM ammo. And then in my right arm, I have another SRM4. So this is how I decided to load out my BattleMech, and let's take a look at the equipment I have on him. So what's really important here is, of course, the modules. I have a capture accelerator. As I've said in my other videos, I think it's extremely important that as a light mech, you're out there capturing capture points. So capture accelerator always. For consumables, I have an improved artillery strike and an improved UAV. The artillery strike gives me a little bit of extra punch if I need it, or the ability to break up some enemy formations. And with my Guardian ECM, I'm able to sneak up on the enemy and pop that UAV and give my friendly LRM some spotting advantages, hopefully, or at least show my team where the enemy may be hiding if they have some ECM. For weapon modules, I have an SRM4 cooldown and range, which does stack with those quirk buffs, so my SRM4s shoot quite far and quite fast, which is very nice. And then finally, for my additional slot I unlocked for mastering this mech, I put a medium laser range module in there. That way I can poke out with that medium laser if I need to. So this has been a look at how I've chose to load out my Commando. And as always, this is a place for you to start. I am not telling you that this is the absolute best build ever. This is just a place for you to start if you're struggling with this particular mech, to give you some ideas of some things you can try. So as always, go out there, play, see what fits your play style, and change accordingly, please. I will also include in this video a match that I played in it to show you how I play my mech. And we'll cut over to that video right now. Alrighty, and here's the match I promised. We're playing a Conquest match out on River City. So, as I say a lot of my videos, I put a capture accelerator on my lights, and I like to cap. So that's what I'm going to start doing here as I head out and I immediately go to a capture point. The beginning of this match is a little uneventful because I'm trying to get us ahead on caps. We end up winning this match on caps, so I cannot stress how many times I've seen matches lost because people aren't taking care of the caps. Now, if you're in an assault or a heavy, that's really tough on you, so it's really important that your fast mechs, and that's usually your lights, get out there and start doing some capping. So, as you can see, I got off the start real fast and then went as far away from the enemy as possible here to get to this capture point. And I just stay here just long enough to turn it blue. If you turn a capture point blue, you get the same amount of points if you fill it up all the way. Filling it up all the way just makes it harder for the enemy to capture. So I sit here for a moment and I see another mech get on that capture point. Looks like he's going to stay, so I move to the next point so we can get those points as fast as possible, start building a lead. As you can see here, I've run outside the city to go a little bit faster. It's a little bit faster to come along the edge here than run through the buildings. So I'm just sticking to the very edge of the map here. Be careful not to go out of bounds if you decide to do this. And then I come up to the top of the parking garage here, and I'm going to move on to that capture point. As you can see, I've run up close to the capture point's little drill or derrick or whatever this thing is. By tucking in here, if there's an artillery strike, it'll actually not hit me. The derrick has a structure over it, so if there were an artillery strike dropped on me, it would probably protect me, and it makes it harder for somebody who's farther away to shoot. So now that we've got this point, what I do is I break off, and I'm going to come around the side and go to the next capture point. I do notice that we have a few mechs down in here, so I do try to take some shots at them on my way over to that capture point. What I do is I run across the bridge because I know that these guys are taking fire from friendlies, and I don't want to give them an opportunity to shoot at a very small mech and kill me. So once I get up here, I get as close as I can before dropping down. And he's done, so there's this Banshee over here next, and what I do is I use the cover here as much as possible to sneak up on him. And as I say in a lot of my videos, you see I'm not circling him. I'm taking shots at him, moving away, coming back from a different angle, and using whatever terrain I can to get in between me and him. He's getting focused by a lot of mechs, and he's kind of ignoring me. I think he knows I'm here, but he doesn't want to turn. And we finish him off, and then I run up to capture that capture point I was aiming at in the first place. As you can see, I come around to the backside again to get that cover from the capture point itself, and being as the out-of-bounds line's right behind me, I'm not worried about it too much about somebody coming up behind me. That area I just looked at was somewhere that they could rush up if there were mechs there, and I wasn't sure, so I looked. And if you see me tabbing in to check the match, what I'm seeing is how many players are alive on both teams to help determine what I want to do next. And what I decide here is to come after the capture point that we started at that's been captured, so we'll come over here and take this point. And again, I just tuck in. Not really worried about having something behind me. I have a friendly behind me, and it looks like most of the fighting is occurring in the middle of the map. So I'm just checking to see who's alive, who's not, and where we are on people being alive and dead. There's a lot of us alive, so I'm sticking with just capping because, as you can see, the enemy team is moving to get captures as well, and I don't want to lose the match because we are ignoring our capture points. What I do here is I know there's a lot of them in the center, and I have an artillery strike. So what I try to do is come up on them and use that artillery strike to kind of break them up, so my team's main force can push onto that center capture point. So I come in here and I hide. I'm going to take some shots. I see that guy, and then I move off because I'm a little bit worried that that assault's going to turn and shoot, and I don't have a lot of places to hide. So I move away just a little bit after dropping that artillery strike, did some damage, and now that that's gone on, and I see that that capture point is no longer being capped by an enemy, I'm going to go take it back. So this is where I started out the match, and as you can see, they didn't cap it all the way, so it's going to be easy for me to flip it. So as I am looking here, what I decide is that they have a lot of people up, and so do we. So what I want to do is end the match as soon as possible. And I see some of my teammates starting to go down. So what I want to do is end the match as soon as possible. So I capture this point and I move off, and then I start to engage enemy mechs to keep them from capping. I figure if they're chasing me around, they won't cap, and that'll give us a better opportunity to win. So what I do is I break off the capture point here, and I go into the city area for cover, and I'll see what I can see once I get in there. Kind of sticking to the edge because I know they're more towards the center. So I'm going to try to sneak up on somebody, and I see that dire wolf. And he looks alone, and he's got some friendlies on him, so I'm going to go help out and see what I can do. Now, something important to remember about these clan mechs is they have to lose both their sides before they go out to XL, so that's why I'm focusing on his side here. You can see I tore off that other side, so he went down. And then I move away because I'm not quite sure where enemies are, and I'm taking a little bit of fire, so I just start running away as fast as I can, and while putting cover between me and where I'm taking fire from. Just don't flip around and run in a straight line because that'll let them shoot you in the back. Now I see this Timberwolf here, and he's chasing down a friendly Stormcrow. So I go and engage because he's really focused on that Stormcrow, so I know he's going to start ignoring me. And I'm trying to pull that side torso off again. And we do win by cap right here pretty soon. But if I'd had the opportunity to get another shot at him, I probably would have torn that side torso off and killed him as well. But this has been a look at how I play my Commando 2D. I hope it's been helpful, and I will show you a little bit of the score I earned for this match. But as always, I hope you enjoyed the videos. I hope you have great luck on the battlefield, and I hope to see you there. And let's take a look and see what I did for performance during this match.